Dr. Hua and everyone. My name is Huyền from class DMk1 and welcome back to my channel. In this second video, I will continue presenting about Google Analytics, focusing on audience reports, acquisition, behavior, Google Ads, the admin panel, and additional GA4 settings. Here's the table of contents for this video, which will have audience reports, acquisition reports, behavior reports, Google Ads, Google Admin Panel, and finally additional GA4 notes. Let's begin with Section 8, Audience Reports. Audience reports shows who's visiting the website by age, gender, and interest, or maybe what devices they use and where they are located. They are used to verify whether our marketing reaches the target market and to understand the behavior patterns across different user groups. In the audience overview, we can see users, new users, and sections. Additional metrics include page views, pages per section, average section duration, and bounce rate or engagement rate in GA4. This is the GA4 User Attributes Overview, which summarizes active users by country, city, language, age, and gender in the latest GA4 version. Here we see active users filtered by age and by gender. This allows us to quickly compare engagement across different demographic groups using the newest GA4 interface. Moving on to demographics and interests, demographic reports highlight age, for example, a primary age group from 25 to 34, and the gender split between male and female users. The paid search example suggests that if ads bring a high share of 18 to 24 male users, we should investigate the creatives and landing pages. Interest reports show related categories users care about, such as home improvement or fitness, and they can guide potential product or content expansion. This is the demographic details in GA4 by country with both time series charts and detailed tables. It helps us to see how user demographics change over time. Here we see the demographics and interest report combined, updated to the newest GA4 version. They provide both demographic details and interest-based segments in one place. This slide presents audience analysis in GA4. It shows how different predefined or custom audiences perform in terms of users, engagement, and conversions. What about devices, browsers, and screen resolution? Well, device and technology reports show which browsers users are on. For example, Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, and even PlayStation or Xbox browsers. Since March 2021, Google has used mobile-first indexing, so Android and iOS performance is very important. We also see that many desktop screens are around 1200 pixels wide, while mobile screens are around 400 pixels wide. This reinforces the importance of responsive design to avoid redirects and duplicate content issues. This GA4 Touch Overview report shows browsers, operating system, devices, and app versions in one dashboard. It provides a high-level view of the technology environment of our users. And this slide goes deeper into touch details by browsers. We can see metrics like users, engagement time, and conversion for each browser type. Here we see the tech details by screen resolution. This helps us evaluate how the site performs across different screen sizes and optimize layouts accordingly. Next, we move on to Section 9, Acquisition Reports. Acquisition reports have one main purpose: to identify which channels bring users and conversions. Typical channels include direct, organic search, paid search, display, social, referral, and affiliates. When e-commerce is enabled, we can analyze conversion rate and revenue generated per channel. Here we see the detailed user acquisition table in GA4. It reports user metrics by primary channel group, such as organic search, direct, paid search, or referral. Here we see the detailed user acquisition table in GA4. It reports user metrics by primary channel group, such as organic search, direct, paid search, or referral. And this slide shows new users by first user default channel group and sections by sections default channel group. We can quickly compare how first-time users and sections are distributed across channels like direct, organic search, paid search, referral, email, and others. Moving on to all traffic and e-commerce impact. All traffic graphs compare the current period with the previous period, for example, week over week. The textbook example notes that direct traffic may dominate due to brand recognition or domain behavior. With e-commerce enabled, these reports show how traffic translates into transactions and revenue. This GA4 report shows traffic acquisition by section default channel group. It combines acquisition data with engagement and conversion metrics for each channel. Now let's talk about sources and mediums. This slide displays sources and medium, which breaks traffic down into pairs such as Google Organic or Facebook Referral, giving more precise attribution for each section. Here we see the GA4 monetization overview. It presents total revenue, e-commerce revenue, purchase events, and revenue per user, helping us evaluate the financial impact of our traffic. And this slide goes deeper into e-commerce purchases by item. It lists products, purchase quantity, and revenue, so we can see which items contribute most to the sales. Now we move on to section 10, behavior reports. Behavior reports answer the question, what do users do on a website? Key components include all pages, landing pages, exit pages, behavior flow, site search, and site speed. The main goal is to map user journeys and identify friction points. In GA4, behavior has been reorganized under engagement. The engagement overview shows engaged sections, average engagement time, events, and conversion over time. This slide shows the events report in GA4. It lists each event name along with the number of occurrences, users, and associated metrics, allowing us to analyze specific interactions on the site. Here, the conversion report is broken down by event name. We can see which conversion events are generating the most value and how they trend over time. Moving on to pages and screens. This slide presents the pages and screens report. It shows which pages or screens attract the most views and engagement, helping us evaluate content performance. There's a term called behavior flow. Behavior flow visualizes the user paths through the site, from the starting page through subsequent interactions and then to drop-offs. Red bars indicate the volume of drop-offs at each step, and a high drop-off at a specific point can signal issues such as broken pages, confusing layouts, unexpected shipping costs, shocked, form errors, or poor user interface. And this GA4 shopping behavior report shows how users move from viewing items to adding them to cart, beginning checkout, and completing transactions. It helps identify where users abandon the purchase process. Checkout behaviors also breaks down the steps within the checkout process itself. By analyzing drop-offs at each step, we can detect issues with forms, payment methods, or information requests. Now let's talk about promotions impact. This slide shows how promotion or campaigns influence user engagement and revenue. We can evaluate whether on-site promotions successfully drive purchases or not. Here we again see the promotion impact report in GA4, also update to the newest version in the monetization workspace. It helps measure the effectiveness of individual promotional elements. We move on to section 11, which is Google Ads. To analyze Google Ads performance in analytics, we must first link the Google Ads account under Admin, Property, and Google Ads linking. Once the accounts are linked, we can review campaigns, keywords, search queries, hour of day, and final URLs directly within analytics. This slide shows a GA4 Google Ads campaign report. It summarizes how ad campaigns perform in terms of traffic, engagement, and conversion. Now we move on to section 12, the Google Admin Panel. The admin panel allows us to manage user access. We can add, edit, or remove users and assign permission levels such as read and analyze, edit, collaborate, or manage users. This is useful when granting access to employees, agencies, or contractors. This slide shows the overall GA4 admin panel interface where accounts, property, and data settings are configured. Here we see account-level details inside the admin panel. These include information about the account and linked properties. This slide focuses on user management and permissions. From here, we can assign appropriate access rights to each user based on their role. Filters can permanently alter or exclude data, so they must be used carefully. In Universal Analytics, the best practice was to create a master view with no filters and additional filter views for analysis. In GA4, filters are mainly found under Data Settings, data filters, commonly used for internal or developer traffic. This slide shows the GA4 data filter screen where we can configure filters such as excluding internal traffic based on IP ranges. Property settings allow configuration of the property name and defaults, linking to Search Console, and enabling e-commerce and remarketing settings. For data retention, we must choose how long user-level data is stored, commonly 14 months. Section timeout is also defined here. The default is 30 minutes, but it can be extended for video or long-form content sites. This slide shows property details in GA4, including property name, time zone, and currency settings. Here we see the data retention configuration in GA4. This determines how long analytics keeps event and user data before automatic deletion. Referral exclusion list prevents self-referrals where your own domain would appear as referral source. Data deletion request allows the removal of specific data to comply with privacy regulations. In Universal Analytics, multiple views with different goals and filters were common. In GA4, views are replaced by property level configuration and the use of explorations. This slide shows the referral exclusion list interface in GA4 where we can specify domains that should not be treated as referral traffic. Finally, we arrive at section 13, additional notes and settings for GA4 that are not fully covered throughout the book. So overall, what is the key differences between UA versus GA4? GA4 uses an event-based data model instead of a purely section-based one. Some important changes include sections becoming engaged sections, bounce rate becoming engagement rate, all pages becoming pages and screens, goals becoming conversion events, and behavior flow becomes path exploration. Traffic acquisition now includes referrals within the new acquisition reports. There are some new GA4 reporting features. GA4 newly introduces the new reporting features under explorations, including funnel exploration, path exploration, and free-form analysis. The user acquisition report focuses on first-time users and how they were acquired. Monetization reports cover e-commerce purchases and in-app purchases for apps. The advertising and conversion paths reports show multi-channel paths to conversion, including organic and social traffic. This slide visually illustrates some of these new GA4 reporting features, emphasizing the flexibility of explorations and the advertising workspace. That concludes my second video presentation on Section 8 to 13 of Google Analytics. I sincerely thank you, Dr. Hua, and everyone for your attention. Hopefully, after my presentation series, I will help you know more about the Google Analytics as well as how to operate effectively on GA4. Thank you and goodbye.